Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon. How are you all? How's it going? So, yes, I think we were supposed to do this masterclass yesterday, but I had some issues, right? I was not, doing well. So, we requested to, do this session today. So, I hope that's not a concern to you. Okay, okay. All right. So, I think before we get on with this session, right? So I think let's try to put down the agenda and what are we going to discuss in this session, right? So overall in this masterclass, we want to talk about the roadmap and the strategies that we might need to think about when we are considering transitioning from a non-tech to tech background, right? Or maybe let's say even if you're not in non-tech but you want to get into a tech career, so what are the options do we have, what are the strategies that we can adopt? So we are going to highlight and talk about those in detail in today's session. So I hope that is clear. So so all right, so I think let's get on with the agenda. So the first thing is we want to talk about like popular careers in technology field as of now, since technology is like pretty vast domain in itself, right? And if you think about technology, right, it would definitely encompass all the things that you are seeing around you. So it's not just software, but so much of hardware that we are doing a lot of, let's say, physical sciences, and all of that involves technology, right? So but of course we're not going to put a very broad purview of things here. We want to really focus on relatively software related technologies, right? And that is what we are going to discuss. So in this particular case, we are going to talk about two important fields within technology that I think should catch your attention, right? And has definitely caught the attention of, let's say, the industry for the last 10-15 years, right? The one is data science, right? And you might have also heard a lot of terms like ML. You might also be hearing a lot of AI, right? So that is one. And the other is software development, right? So software development has been around for like quite some time. And we want to understand what is it that we can do to pursue a career in software development. Okay, so we're going to talk about these two careers in the beginning. Then we're going to talk about the roadmaps. What are the roadmaps for building career, let's say, as a fresher in these domains? We are going to then talk about the job roles and skills which are required to excel in these careers, right? So we're going to talk about everything that it will take for you to let's say become really prepared for these careers. Then we'll talk about how to clear and crack interviews. How can we get really smart at interview preparation? What kind of questions can we expect? Just give me a second. All right, so I just need to hang on. All right, yeah, I think, yeah, this looks fine. All right, and then we're going to do a simple course preview, right? Which is pretty much going to be the roadmap that we are going to stick, and that is how we are going to, uh, if at all, if we are going to gain anything out of it. So that we'll try to really understand, and then at the end we'll be open for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, so you can put them in the Q&A. I think we might already have some questions, but if not, you can just put them in the Q&A. And before we start, I just want to share my personal experience before we start. So overall, if you some of you guys might know me. So I'm Vikas Srivastav. I am one of the co-founders at AlmaBetter, and I'm currently CTO at AlmaBetter. So I'm looking after product engineering and the platform which is required to support all the operations and support learning for our large student base. So this is what I've been doing. But this was not the case, let's say, quite some years back, right? So in 2012, I got into IIT Kharagpur, luckily, right? Of course, I didn't pay any donation. So I did civil engineering there for 4 years. Civil engineering didn't excite me that much. There are like multiple reasons. But in 2016, I stepped into the data science domain, right? So I started my first job as a risk analyst at American Express. Okay, and so I did this job for like 15 months, and my tech stack essentially there was I was working on SaaS, I was working on SQL. I also needed to have good understanding of stats and machine learning so that we could do risk analytics to its fullest potential. Okay, so that was my first experience, and then I switched to another company called Global Analytics, right? And it is also a very popular company in analytics. And I got this role. So as of now, I haven't gotten this role of data scientist. So I was called analytics scientist. That was the job designation that I was given. And there, my tech stack was primarily Python, R, SQL, Stats, and ML. Right. So this is what I was pretty much focused on doing my day-to-day work at Global Analytics, right? So I again did this for like a year, and then I moved down to Bangalore in 2018, where I joined HSBC as a data scientist, right? And I was doing a lot of work in NLP side of things, in let's say financial and research modeling. So I did that in HSBC for 2 years. My tech stack was primarily Python, machine learning, NLP. I did a bit of deep learning as well. SQL, of course, is inevitable at any company if you are trying to work. And in 2020, we decided to start AlmaBetter, right? So we, at that point of time, we felt that we could really do better at providing really good data science education because there was total dearth of quality education, and that is how we started AlmaBetter. And it's going great so far. So it's been more than 4 years now, and so before even let's say the technology lead or anything, or an entrepreneur, I feel that I'm an educator first, right? So I really love interacting with students. I have been taking a lot of classes as well, right? And I try to interact with students and try to discuss and see what can work out for everyone. So that is what I have been pretty much doing. And so that's all about myself. Okay, if you want to know more, so maybe you can drop me an email, but let's go ahead, right? So this is all about me. And so now we want to talk about what are the popular careers in tech. Okay, and I gave you an idea that we want to discuss primarily two sets of career or fields. One is data science or AI or ML, whatever that you can call, right? Because these jargons are being interchangeably used. There are, however, slight differences, but I think more or less we everyone sort of mean the same thing when they say data science or AI or ML. But there are clear differences, which I will try to clarify in this session. And then there is a field of software development, within which we want to talk about a specific field called web development, right? Because software engineering itself is a very big field, right? Because today we might want to, let's say, build software for maybe Airbus 382, 380, right? Software is more or less ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Software is being used in large scale uh, industrial robotics or industrial manufacturing. So software, apart from the regular websites or the applications that you interact with, it has pervaded a lot into the domain. So we want to specifically talk about web development, which is one of the fields inside software development where we are focused on talking or building web applications, right? So for example, you go to almabetter.com, right? That is a web application. Or maybe you go to grow.almabetter.com, which is your learning platform. That is a web application. Or maybe you go to Google Meet, or you go to, let's say, YouTube. All of these are essentially web applications, right? They run on your browser, right? So you can open your browser like Chrome and just go to a website or a platform. That is essentially a web application. So that is the other domain that we want to talk about, right? So first of all, I want to get started with data science, right? And if you have been paying attention, data science has gained a lot of popularity, I think, in the last 10 or 15 years or so, right? If I recall correctly, in 2013, 2014, that is when deep learning was, of course, picking up. right? Traditional ML was also sort of pretty much established, and industry people were mostly calling this as analytics, right? So data analytics was something that everyone was talking about. No one was calling it as data science, right? But as years progressed, we now switched to this kind of nomenclature. So now what is data science? So if you look at the Venn diagram that is being shown on your screen, it is an interdisciplinary field. Okay, it is an interdisciplinary field which requires a complete, let's say, a good ensemble of multiple domains and disciplines, and that is how you get better at it, right? That is what even the field is. So one of the disciplines that data science would require you to be good at is maths. Okay, so for example, in maths, because maths itself is a very huge field, right? We are not going to learn group theory or maybe let's say something else, but there are certain topics in maths which are very essential to developing a career in data science. So one is going to be probability and statistics, the other is going to be calculus, and the last is going to be linear algebra, right? Probability and statistics, right? So let's think about it. We have been doing the statistical modeling for like decades, right? Even before data science or data analytics was something, scientists and engineers used to do a lot of statistical modeling. Even if you think about the discovery of Higgs boson, right, which was done in 2012 at Center of European Nuclear Research, Geneva. So they employed statistical techniques to confirm their findings or to report their findings. So statistics is quite an important field, and it is again being used across a lot of, let's say, industries where we have good amount of data. So think about biology, right? So you are having a lot of data around protein and genome sequences, and maybe related to, let's say, diseases, and there are like other things. So statistics is again a very important field which has been sort of there for the last, let's say, more than, I would say, 70, 80 years, right? So we have been doing a lot of statistical modeling. Statistical modeling requires a lot of assumptions around the data so that we can make, let's say, certain educated guesses. But again, it operates under a lot of assumptions. So that is what statistical modeling is. Calculus now has become important because now we are doing uh, good scale machine learning. So now machine learning requires a lot of, let's say, underlying mathematics so that we can do better at it. Okay, so calculus and linear algebra, and specifically linear algebra has really, and calculus has really uh, 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 let's say, put the accelerator in the on the field of deep learning, right? So deep learning has really accelerated, and it has now given rise to a wide range of use cases in AI. And now we are thinking that uh, now we are not even just calling AI, we are anticipating AGI or ASI, right? So what is AGI? So that is artificial general intelligence. So our machines are getting pretty smart, right? In fact, if you look at the state of the art models like, let's say, GPT-4o, or let's say Claude by Anthropic, right? If you know, or let's say DeepSeek, or there are like tons of model, like even from Google, that is Gemini. So they are trying to bring in or usher in this era of artificial general intelligence, right? So now we have moved on from AI to AGI because they are now getting so smart that they can do a wide range of tasks which are very difficult for, let's say, a simple human to do, right? If I ask you, uh, so if I Okay, so if I ask you, let's say, hey, why don't you write an article on this particular topic, right? Or can you derive this equation? Or can you write this code? Okay. Or can you maybe generate this image, right? Or can you draw this painting, let's say, right? So AI is being applied to all this wide range of use cases, and we are seeing that it is getting much better at doing those tasks than humans, right? In fact, within AI, we're also seeing a resurgence of embodied AI, right? So how can we bring intelligence into these, let's say, embodiments? For example, we are seeing a lot of advancement in robotics, right? So we're trying to develop robots who can do a general purpose set of tasks. So embodied AI is also getting a lot of let's say relevance, and people are working on it, right? But of course, we don't need to go into the details of that. I'm just trying to give you an idea how this field has been developing, right? So one of the domains which is very important or discipline for doing good data science is your maths. Okay, you don't have to be really exceptional at it, but you have to have at least basic college level understanding so that you can really understand and reason what's happening. The other discipline that data science requires is computer science, right? Because uh, what is even machine learning, right? So machine learning is all about, let's say, coming up with some function or algorithm which will which we are trying to basically learn the parameters of that function based on some input and output, right? So we have input output pairs. We are trying to come up with these functions who can learn proper mappings, right? And for that we have invented a lot of, let's say, unique algorithms. So that is one part of computer science, right? Another part of computer science is programming, right? So we can program some stuff and have computers do some sort of, let's say, computation and do those tasks, right? So if I want to build a machine learning model, I need to definitely program it out, right? I might have an algorithm. It could be really smart algorithm, but I have to program it in such a way so that my computer can carry out all those exercises and build those models on a particular data, and that is what we call training. Okay, so computer science is again another discipline which is, I think, a prerequisite for data science, right? We of course don't need to master the entire field of computer science, but there are like certain things within this domain that we need to really do well at. So we need to have good idea of algorithms. These algorithms are not your traditional algorithms as such. I am specifically referring to the ML algorithms, right? But I think a good data scientist should also have good understanding of basic data structure so that they know how they can program stuff and build like good models. So computer science again is another discipline. And the third discipline that I will really emphasize is your domain knowledge or the business knowledge, right? So let's say, what if you know good maths? What if you know good computer science, right? You might come up with, let's say, good, let's say, Python packages which implement certain algorithms, or it could be a novel algorithm, right? But how does industry use that? So for you to be able to use your maths and computer science knowledge and apply that knowledge to a wide range of industrial use cases, we need to have good understanding of business or domain knowledge, right? And that is another discipline that I cannot emphasize more, right? So let's say you will never be able to become a good scientist or a good data science professional if you do not know the business in and out, right? If you don't know how your domain works, right? So you might be working in fintech, you might be working in retail, you might be working on e-commerce, you might be working in, let's say, logistics, you might be working in biosciences, or maybe other set of fields. But having a good domain knowledge is really important for you to excel, right? So um, if you don't know good domain knowledge, right, you won't be able to, let's say, formulate good problem statements, and that is where you might lack in at developing good and novel solutions in data science, right? Now, what are the careers that we are looking at in the field of data science, right? Especially with respect to freshers perspective. So we have a wide range of, let's say, data science roles, which are very popular across industry, right? So you might know about most of this, but I'll just reiterate. So one is your data analyst, right? So to be a good data analyst, you need to have good business or domain knowledge. You need to have relative, like, okay understanding of, let's say, statistics, and then you might need to know a bit of programming like Python or SQL, and I think that should be fine. So that should uh, help you prepare well for becoming a good data analyst, right? So it does not require a lot of things. It is relatively a naive role in the field of data science, right? And then we have data scientist, which for you to excel at this particular role, we need to have good understanding of all these disciplines that I have highlighted here. Okay, then you have another role as, let's say, uh, okay, so you guys want me to stick to as in use Hindi as well? Pratiksha, Prashik, do you want me to use Hindi as well? Okay, if you want, I can also, yeah, maybe switch from time to time. So another role is data engineer, where it is less about the mathematics knowledge, or it's less about the business knowledge, but here we're just trying to engineer, we're trying to build data pipelines so that a data analyst can consume that data, or let's say your business teams can consume that data, or maybe your data scientists can use that data to build models, right? So data engineers are responsible for building the data pipelines, right? Because think about, let's say, any industry or any company, right? If there is a company, right, which is, let's say, consumer facing, or maybe it could be, let's say, business facing as well, they, because the business exists, right, it has some interacting customers, it is going to generate data, right? That is how information is being created in this world. So there are new entities, there are other entities interacting with these, and that's how we are getting all this vast amount of information. And data engineers are responsible for building really strong pipelines. So think about how water or electricity gets to your home from a very far away place. Okay, so data engineers are also responsible in such a way, right, that the data, right, which is created from the source point, right, it's now easily available um, at certain points, where now it can be consumed by some stakeholders like your analysts or scientists, or maybe your even end consumers, right? So so that is what data engineers do, right? Then we have ML engineers, right? So ML engineers go a level above, right? So they might not know a lot of, let's say, maths, right? They might not know, let's say, a very uh, uh, they might not have a good understanding of, let's say, even business or domain, right? But उनका काम ये रहता है कि if a data scientist has built a, let's say, machine learning model, how do I put that in production, right? So for example, Netflix is using recommender system, right, to recommend, okay, hey, you might be interested in this particular series, or in this particular movie, right? So, and every time you refresh, or let's say you log into Netflix after a day, you see that your recommendations are changing, right? So who is responsible for building that kind of infrastructure, right? And that is where ML engineers kick in, right? ML engineers are responsible for deploying and maintaining and monitoring your ML models which are in production, right? Because these ML models might be driving a lot of, let's say, a lot of things which consumers are seeing. For example, I am seeing a lot of recommendations on Netflix. I am seeing a lot of recommendations on YouTube as well. I am seeing, so I'm going to Twitter and I'm seeing my feed, right? How that feed is being curated. So that also requires some sort of machine learning for building that sort of personalization. And the ML engineers are responsible for building the ML pipelines, or deploying those ML models, so that we can really avail those services as consumers. ठीक है? Then last है AI engineer. AI engineer थोड़ा सा advance हो गया. AI engineer और let's say ज़्यादा deep learning use cases पे काम कर रहे हैं. They are also involved in doing some sort of, let's say, AI research, which I will highlight a bit later. But AI engineer is also, let's say, one of the roles in data science, right? AI engineer बनाने के लिए, right? So Aparna is saying AI engineer बना दो. I have MBBS, right? So AI engineer is like a data scientist who might also need to know a bit of, let's say, production level engineering, and थोड़ा research का भी understanding होना चाहिए. Okay, so AI engineer, maybe, let's say, you might not become an AI engineer, let's say, at the start of the career, but over, let's say, a year or two, you can really progress well into it. Okay, if you have studied Python on your own, Aparna, that's great, and I think you definitely have a kickstart, right? And can I start with open source common contribution? Definitely, right? No one is stopping you. So open source में contribute करो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. कुछ अगर Python कर रहा है, if you can build some useful Python packages which I can pip install and use it for my certain use cases, that would be great, right? बहुत सारे packages है ना, numpy, pandas, ये सब तो खैर बड़े हैं, छोटे छोटे भी packages है, but which are useful, right? So I think we should definitely do that, right? This we can definitely start doing open source contribution. Okay, so this was all about data science, right? So data science is a field where we're trying to build intelligence out of the data that we have, right? So it could be also related to how are we even creating the data, or how are we, let's say, building the pipelines for getting the data in a very structured way so that we can then do downstream tasks such as modeling and analytics and then building strategies on top of it. Right. But now web development, right? Web development is another field which is very closely related to data science, but it's not exactly data science, right? So web development is concerned with developing web applications, right? Which will essentially generate data, right? You log into grow.almabetter.com, right? So I know who has logged in, right? If you're doing some activities there, right, as a user or a consumer, if you're doing some activities, you are essentially generating the data, right? So all these web applications, in a way, they are a source of generating data that we are seeing around all the world, around ourselves, right? So data generate हो रहा है. अगर मैं कोई भी वेबसाइट पे, यूट्यूब पे जाके मैं कुछ वीडियो देखूं, तो वो एक कुछ तो मैं डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट छोड़ रहा हूँ ना. आई एम लीविंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट. Now YouTube understands, okay, this user with this particular user ID, maybe they would be keeping, let's say, your identity is concealed if they're doing some sort of internal analysis. But आपने कुछ भी वीडियो देखा, अभी एक वीडियो देखा, आधा देखा, आपने एक वीडियो पूरा देखा, राइट, आप एक दिन के बाद है, राइट. सो basically web applications are a point of are a way of generating data because customers are interacting with the platforms, right? Uh, and uh, and web development as a field itself is concerned with building such kind of applications, right? And now it requires a different kind of tech stack. Okay. So अब वेब डेवलपमेंट में बहुत सारी चीजें होती है, राइट. सो अगर कोई आप वेबसाइट पे जाओ, इफ यू गो टू almabetter.com, right, you are seeing this page, right, what is in front of your eye, right, you're seeing some sort of structure on the page, you're seeing some sort of information. So what you are seeing in on your screen is what we call as the UI or the front end. Okay, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, फ्रंट एंड बोलते हैं या यूआई बोलते हैं, or user interface. And what technologies do we need to build these front ends? So we will need, let's say, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? So these are important technologies which will help us, let's say, build some sort of front end application or front end page which I can see and sort of interact with. Then we have another layer to it, right, which is backend. So now backend is what, where, let's say, our data resides, right? So who are my users, right? मेरा यूजर का टेबल जो है प्रॉपर, राइट, कब वो यूजर क्रिएट हुआ, उसकी क्या डिटेल्स एंड लॉट ऑफ स्टफ, राइट. वो डेटाबेसेस वो बैकएंड में पीछे में कहीं पे वो डेटाबेसेस है, राइट. सो फ्रंट एंड में मैं लॉग इन कर रहा हूँ, वो डेटा बैकएंड में जा रहा है, राइट. सो एक डेटाबेस में कहीं स्टोर हो रहा है कोई टेबल पे. ओके, सो इट कुड बी, लेट्स से, यूजर्स टेबल. इफ यू आर मेकिंग प्रोग्रेस ऑन योर कोड्स, it that information is getting logged and populated in another table in your database, right, which could be related to your, let's say, user activity, for example. Then there are services which handle this kind of communication between front end and back end, right? So let's say मैंने कुछ यहाँ पे एक लॉगिन करा, राइट. सो मैंने लॉगिन करा तो एक ऑथेंटिकेशन सर्विस होगी, राइट, which will handle this kind of mechanism. And it's not a simple mechanism. Most of the time it's a complex mechanism. And that is the service which is a backend service that will accept some sort of front end request. So when I'm submitting a form, there's a request that I'm sending from front end, and my backend service is receiving that request and it is trying to process that. So we need to have good services which can handle different tasks which will be communicated from the front end. Okay, ठीक है. So वो services हो गए. APIs क्या होते हैं? So they are short an acronym for application programming interfaces, right? They are like the medium of communication between your front end and the back end, right? So I'll give you a simple analogy for this, right? So suppose you go to a restaurant for a meal or for dining, right? So the table at which you sit, right, and you're seeing the menu and you'll have your plates and food, that is what we can call as front end. Okay, where is your food coming from, right? That is backend, right? That is where the chef is making your food, and that is what you will be eventually eating. Now your waiters, right, or the staff will be analogous to your APIs, right? They are who is exchanging, right? So you place a certain request, the waiter will take that request and then forward that to the backend team, right, which is your kitchen, right, which is your backend kitchen overall, right? So वेटर क्या कर रहे हैं कि आपका फ्रंट एंड रिक्वेस्ट, आपने बोला कि यार मुझे बटर चिकन एंड 3 नान चाहिए, राइट? So you have given this order, so they will take that order and process that to the back end, right? And they will process that, they will make that. Of course that will take some time, but web में ऐसा होता है कि मैंने फट से रिक्वेस्ट भेजता हूँ, it I get more or less the response in a relatively quick amount of time, in milliseconds, in maybe a single second or multiple seconds. But overall, the front end requests are handled by backend services, right? And all the communication between front end and back end, and the back end to front end, is being mediated by what we call as APIs. So APIs are your medium of exchange of information, more or less, right? So front user को क्या चाहिए, right? वो API बता रहा है कि user ने भाई ये request place किया है, and of course users can only place a very specific type of API request which you have constrained in your application, right? So आप कुछ ही टाइप के रिक्वेस्ट ही प्रोसेस करोगे, वो कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकता है। अब यूजर आगे अब थोड़ी बोलेगा कि भाई मुझे घर दिला दे बैंगलोर में, राइट? तो मेरे पास थोड़ी कोई सर्विस होगी विच विल एक्चुअली, राइट? So there will be constrained request which the front end users will request for, and then our backend services will let's say process that. And all of this information exchange is being done by APIs, right? So APIs are essentially the backbone of the modern internet. Okay, so never forget that. So APIs आप either data science भी कर रहे हो, आपको important है, because let's say if you want to scrape the internet or maybe through some APIs, so you need to have that understanding, and you'll be learning that in both the courses. Okay, and then there are like other auxiliary things that you might need to know in the field of web development, right? So it's not just about building your front end and back end, but बहुत सारी और भी चीज होती है, right? So let's say there's a product like YouTube, right? So there's so many features and so many important things that as consumers we are availing. So there is a team of engineers who are maintaining and continuously building that platform. So the code management, right? The code which eventually gives rise to the entire facet of YouTube, that becomes important, right? So how do you write code? How do you manage your code and repos? There could be, let's say, one repo for authentication, managing authentication services. There could be one repo for maintaining your video services. There could be one repo for let's say for implementing certain, let's say, AI models which could be related to, let's say, transcript generation, recommender. There could be a lot of things, right? So code management again is also part of, let's say, software development life cycle. Then we have cloud DevOps, right? So there we will have, let's say, CI/CD pipeline, right? So if I push my code to GitHub, right? How do I, let's say, automatically get that code deployed to production or to whatever environment that I'm pushing to? And then how can it, let's say, be put to production without minimal with minimal intervention? So that is related to cloud DevOps. Then you might want to manage your infrastructure, so you might want to put a lot of, let's say, brain into putting all of this together. So web development is also a very interesting field where we are focused on building web applications, and front end is the part which we see, back end is which is handling all the logic and handling all the data, and then there are like other auxiliary stuff. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to understand, right? So are you guys getting this? आ रहा है आप लोगों को समझ में कि डेटा साइंस में क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, वेब डेवलपमेंट में क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं? आर यू गेटिंग दिस? बताओ, कैन यू प्लीज टेल इन द चैट? So Aparna says yes. What about other folks? So I hope you guys are understanding this. So ये दो पॉपुलर टेक्नोलॉजी करियर्स है और डोमेन्स है where, let's say, as a fresher, you would want to um, you would want to maybe progress or grow into, right? These are interesting, challenging भी है, intellectually stimulating भी है, it's very interesting, and it's also very rewarding. It's high paying, right? You'll also get a lot of, let's say, respect among your peers if you are doing something like this, right? So it's very interesting. Okay, so all right, so let's go ahead, right? So this is something that I've already discussed, but I'll just highlight again, right? So what is the tech stack that we are looking for both these fields? So in data science, we would want to have good understanding of Python. So basic Python programming, basic data structures in Python, how to write, let's say, objects and classes. So वो Python में आपको आना चाहिए, right? Then we have data analysis in Python. So data analysis is again important, where you learn about libraries such as pandas, numpy. You'll be doing data visualization using matplotlib, cbot. So that is again an important stuff. Okay, that is again an important thing. The third skill set that you'll need to do well in data science is having good knowledge of SQL and relational databases, right? Because you won't be doing any data science if you don't have data, right? So, and the fourth skill set that you would want to have, let's say, if you're trying to become a good data analyst or even a good data scientist or even a good data science professional, you need to learn how to present your information, right, to maybe someone else. And that is where you would want to know a bit of Excel, Tableau, and Power BI, so that you can uh, build reports and create maybe dashboards so that you can convey your insights and analysis. Okay, so uh, all right. The fifth thing in data science that you would need is having good understanding of applied maths, right? So I have already talked about this. So you might need to know a bit of calculus, linear algebra, probability, and statistics. Okay. And the last thing that for fresher level, let's say data science roles, then you'll need to know basic ML, right? Where you would want to learn about supervised learning, unsupervised learning, modeling techniques. Um, how do we even interpret ML models? So all of that will come in machine learning. You learn about recommender systems, you learn about clustering algorithms, you learn about time series and whatnot, right? And then if you want to, let's say, go a step ahead, so you would want to maybe learn about deep learning and ML engineering, right? So deep learning, again, it is a very specialized field of machine learning which has sprang out of existence based on a particular algorithm called neural networks. So neural network is one of the most powerful machine learning algorithms, and they're so useful, so much useful, that it has given rise to a field itself called deep learning, right? And deep learning has like pretty much taken off. Okay, and then ML engineering is all about how do you put ML models in production, how do you deploy them, how do you monitor them, how do you maintain the infrastructure, everything around that. Okay, in web development, for front end, need to know about HTML and CSS. So HTML is the skeleton of any, is how we build any basic web page on internet. Okay, then we have CSS, which adds aesthetics and beauty to your web pages. Okay, then we have JavaScript. JavaScript helps you maintain and make your applications more interactive, right? So JavaScript is probably the most popular language in the world, right? So Python and JavaScript, they have like similar levels of popularity. So Python is using Python also we can build web applications, but Python has gained a lot of popularity, especially when it comes to, let's say, doing machine learning and AI. Okay, then we have Git and GitHub. So Git and GitHub are technology through how we do version control and do code management. Okay, so code management, I told you that that is important, because if you're working as a team on a particular application, so you might be doing, let's say, working on some features, your team member could be working on other features. So how to get everyone on board and sync it with each other, and that is where Git and GitHub will be important, right? So Git is a technology for version control. GitHub is a platform which uses the knowledge of Git for doing, or the idea of Git for doing version control. Okay, then we have Tailwind CSS. That is again another useful front end framework which helps us build or write good CSS. Then we have React JS, Next JS. These are again very popular front end frameworks through which we can build really interactive applications. So our almabetter.com website is built using Next.js. Okay, our grow.almabetter.com, which is your student learning platform, is built using React.js. Okay, So these are the front end framework that we are using, right? Even though we are doing data science education, building the entire learning platform and the web application through which my students will be doing everything with us. So we need to employ these technologies so that you can have the best experience. Then we have Node.js and Express.js, right? So these are now the backend frameworks for building your database, for building, let's say, your services, for writing your APIs, and doing everything around with your databases, right? Then you might want to have good understanding of databases, Postgres. You want to have good understanding of, let's say, SQL or NoSQL databases, right? So that is another important skill set for doing well in web development career, right? And we want to know uh, then we want to know about APIs and how do we, let's say, build authentication into our web applications. How do we build security so that whoever is authorized, then they are only, let's say, going to access the specific or desired resources. Then you need to have good understanding of, let's say, how of Linux, of, let's say, terminal commands. So how can you do, let's say, some important tasks without let's say, doing a lot of, let's say, clicks. Okay, so we can you resort to terminal for doing a lot of, let's say, quick work. Okay, so that is again very important. And then at the last, you would need to know about cloud services, right? So for example, um, today, whoever, let's say, if you want to build a business, right, you want to build a product, right? So you're not going to own the entire infrastructure, right? You're not going to have your own computers or servers. Most of the time you're going to create, let's say, an account or enterprise account on a popular cloud service provider like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, GCP, right? And there you're going to use their infrastructure, and of course you're going to pay for that. But it's very easy for you to get started. Okay, it's very easy for you to get started. So um, so if you're thinking of building a startup today, right, you're not going to, let's say, put in your own bare metal, you're not going to put in your own servers, but you're going to resort to maybe AWS and use their services, right? So they're providing a lot of services, right? And you cannot help but use them, right? Because they're very useful and very powerful, and they have um, put a lot of effort behind that, right? So for example, think about EC2, right? So EC2 is one of the services by AWS, which is short for Elastic Cloud Compute. They give us access to a lot of, let's say, virtual machines where I can run my code, where I can have my apps running. I have access to something called S3, which is simple storage service, where I can store some data, some files, some assets, some media, some videos, whatever that we want to store, right? They are giving us RDS, right, which is a database service through, or a relational database service, where I can store my tables and data in a very structured format. Okay. So these are like very few services which I've told you, but if you actually read about this, it's a very big universe in itself. Okay, so these are the skill sets that we'll need in the field of web development to really excel. And I've already talked about data science. Okay. Uh, so I've already talked about what each roles in these specific disciplines entail. So as data analyst, you would be doing analytics, reporting, dashboarding, and you'll also be doing statistical modeling, right? So if you're working on retail sector, you would want to, let's say, understand how much sales are we going to get next month, right? And that could be and there you'd want to, let's say, do some sort of statistical modeling. Okay. Then you have data scientists, right? So there you're going to do everything that, let's say, a data analyst would do. Plus, you would want to do good at you want to, yeah, do better at ML modeling, how to maybe even deploy ML models, right? Because when we started in 2016, right, there, let's say, the expectations from data scientists were not big, right? So if I, as a data scientist, was just able to build a simple, let's say, a risk model, right, which will uh, for a particular, let's say, use case, that was fine. But now the expectations have really gone up, right? Now the companies are expecting data scientists to also be well versed at how to put these ML models in production, right? So most of the time data scientists used to build ML models, right? It never used to go to production. And after a year or so, they will switch to different company. Now they will again build ML models. Nothing is going to production, right? There's no deployment, right? It's just at the idea phase only, and then now they're switching to another company, right? But now the companies have gotten smarter, and they think that if I'm hiring a data scientist, they should have a basic understanding of ML engineering as well. Okay, then you have data engineer. So I told you that as data engineer, you need to be great at building data pipelines so that you can move the data from the source to your, let's say, whatever place where you're storing that, right? So your raw data will first of all go into something called data lake, right? So data lake is just a term for a place where I'm going to store all my raw data, right? So it could be events level data, it could be a lot of other data, and then I could do, let's say, some downstream processing. It could be aggregation, transformation of my raw data. And I would want to maybe then store, let's say, that in data warehouse, right? And this is where we would want to, let's say, do some sort of, let's say, data feature engineering, right? So we would want to tweak and transform and aggregate our raw data and create that into more meaningful information. And that is why we will be using data warehouse, right? So data warehouse is more, let's say, consumption friendly from a perspective of an analyst or a data scientist. Data lake concerns itself with essentially storing raw information, right? And we might not make the best out of just raw information, right? So we have to put in certain intelligence so that we can build better quality of information, and that is what will be residing in our warehouse. Then you have ML engineer that are responsible for deploying ML models. They're responsible for doing monitoring and of course managing the entire infrastructure, right? So uh, this is what, let's say, each of the roles in data science will be required to do. There are like other roles as well, like AI engineer. There is AI researcher. So I don't want to maybe go into that because that will be a bit advanced with respect to this particular session, because I'm assuming most of you are fresher and trying to get into this field, right? So yeah, that is the dream, right? And if you have the dream, nothing is insurmountable. Okay, so AI research is pretty interesting, right? And I would want, I think, people to eventually go into that, because if we are, let's say, if we cannot, let's say, outcompete AI, better, let's say, build AI. Okay, so that is how you can have the maximum job security, right? अगर एआई से compete नहीं कर पाएंगे तो बेस्ट क्या करेंगे, एआई बनाते हैं। एआई बनाएंगे तो फिर एआई से compete करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी ना, समझ, right? Now think about web development, right? So again, in web development, there are like multiple roles: front end developer, back end developer, full stack developer. Full stack developer is someone who is responsible for building both front end and back end. Okay, and so these are the fields in web development. All right, ठीक है, let's go ahead. So now, basically, how are we going to do better at interviews, right? So first of all, we need to really upskill and learn all the basic skill set which are required for doing good work in these disciplines. Okay, okay, so you need to really upskill if you want to have any chances of doing better at interviews, right? So you should know your stuff. Then you should have a really good profile, right? You should be out there. You have to take command. You have to build your own personal brand, and that is how companies or anyone is going to have faith in you, right? You have to demonstrate your, let's say, learning and what you stand for out there, right? So it cannot be that you are sitting behind the curtain even though you know all of stuff, and if you're expecting the world will come to you naturally and will bid for you with great compensation, that might not be the case, right? So you have to really put yourself out there, and that requires you to have a really good GitHub profile. So you need to make let's say regular contributions in GitHub. You might want to, let's say, do good open source contribution, maybe not at this stage but after, later on, right? But to have a good GitHub profile, I think that is very useful. As a recruiter, let's say, as a manager, if I'm hiring someone and if I see that they have good GitHub profile, at least it will tell me that they are motivated, right? So they are really excited by whatever that they are doing, right? So build your GitHub profile. Build your YouTube profile. You have to build your YouTube channel, right? Today, YouTube is undoubtedly one of the best platform to really put out there, right? Now, if let's say if you learn something, you start making videos. So not only that, you understand it in a very deeper manner, but you're also putting it out there for the world to understand, right? And if the world sees value, so if I, as a manager recruiter, I see your YouTube profile and you have made really interesting videos on neural networks, transformers, modeling techniques, and interpretability, I would be like really damn impressed, right? I would say that okay, this guy is something else, right? I need to have him or her on my team, and because they are like really exceptional. You need to have a good medium profile or substack profile, at least have some sort of blog. Okay, so you continuously whatever that you're learning, you put it out there on in form of some blog, right? So you need to put your imprints out there, right, or footprints out there, so that the world knows that you are of course doing this and you're really good at it, right? So that is what I think I'm really encouraging. Have a really good Twitter profile. Okay, you need to definitely have a good resume, and I would encourage everyone in this age, right, in 2025, right? It is We are at the turn of the quarter of this century, right? And I think everyone should have a personal website today, right? It's very easy to make personal website. I can make, let's say I can demonstrate like that in 2 minutes, but I would encourage you to explore, right? How do we quickly build personal websites, right? There are applications through which you can just write in just you can just give some prompt, you create my personal website which will have this, and it is going to build a full stack application. Okay. um, so you can use Squarespace, or maybe you can, let's say, have your own repo, or you can build on Webflow. They're like a lot of, let's say, website builders as well, right? So you can use Framer or Webflow. They're like other tools as well, right? Or you can also build that in GitHub pages, right? So there are GitHub pages where you can build your own website as well. Then you need to really be prepared on the interview questions, right? You need to have good understanding of what kind of interview questions can I expect. um, and and you need to do better at it, right? So of course, if you do a course, right, either with us or elsewhere, okay, so you need to of course prepare what kind of interview questions you can expect, but you can really augment your preparation by doing let's say mock interview sessions with Chat GPT or Claude, right? So does anyone of you know what is Claude? कभी सुना है आप लोगों ने? Has anyone of you heard about Claude? Claude कभी सुना है किसी ने? क्या है? So Claude is again state of the art, or we call SOTA model, by a company called Anthropic AI. So Anthropic is a very popular is AI research company by Dario Amodei, right? And he was, of course, a researcher at OpenAI previously, but he went on to build his own company, Anthropic, and these are state of the art AI models, right? So you can do a lot of, let's say, mock interview sessions with them, right? So you can say that, hey, this is the job description, this is my resume. Now I need to prepare for this particular role, right? So can you generate an interview questions, right, so that I can prepare well for the interview. Okay. So people are complaining कि उसके कोड में बहुत bugs होते हैं, थोड़े मोड़े हो सकते हैं, क्लॉड में उतना नहीं है. So Claude, I would say that Claude is, I think, best at coding. Okay, so if you're using Claude 3.5 uh, Opus, okay, if you're using Claude 3.5 Opus, so I think that is really good at coding. So I think it's going to be much better at your, let's say, regular programmer. Okay, so you can rely on that. Perplexity is amazing, but again, it is a more of an AI agentic platform. So agentic AI is something which is already also taken off. Okay, so but Perplexity is also what you can do, but it is more or less, it's less of a pure AI, but it is an agentic AI platform where of course you can do web search. Even Chat GPT today is now does web search, right? So you don't have to worry about it. If you're looking for a good basic fresher level data science, career preparation, interview preparation, or web development, you can resort to, let's say, Chat GPT or Claude. Okay, so agentic AI is a field itself, right? Which it deals with how can you coordinate different agents, right? So there could be agents for different tasks. How can you bring them in sort of harmony and coordination so that they can build a ulterior task, or they can solve for an ulterior motive, right? That is what agentic AI is. And Perplexity as a platform is a really great example of agentic AI. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Um, so you can, of course, look at, you can generate a lot of, let's say, interesting questions using AI, right? So maybe you can go to Claude. Okay. So let's say I can go to Claude, maybe, right? And okay. So maybe you can just write generate, uh, let's say, useful interview questions for the role of, let's say, data scientist. Okay. In a company named, let's say, Intel, for example, right? So maybe, so it's using Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but you can take subscription and you can use Opus, right? So you can say that, can you explain the difference between parametric and non-parametric methods, right? This is a good question. You can also generate the answer side as well, right? So you can say that generate useful interview questions and their answers, right? So I can go ahead, right? So I can say that, and their, let's say, apt answers, for example. Okay. So you can see, now, right, so it is, so you can see that, see, how would you handle a large data set of semiconductor manufacturing sensor data that doesn't fit into memory? Because I told that this is the opening at Intel, it automatically understood that it is, it could be, let's say, you need some sort of domain expertise. So that's why it has mentioned semiconductor manufacturing or industry. So you also have solution. How would you build a predictive maintenance model for Intel's manufacturing equipment? Okay. How would you detect anomalies in chip manufacturing processes? Um, how do you handle class imbalance? Explain cross validation techniques for time series data, right? So here you might want to do something called temporal cross validation rather than your regular cross validation. Write a SQL query to analyze the correlation between this. So you have good SQL queries as well, right? So you can totally use these to do a better preparation. That's what I would say. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is, I think, this was pretty much it in terms of discussing the technicalities and everything that was there. In terms of really understanding how do we really switch to the tech domain, right? So if I'm coming from any non-tech background, or this could be, let's say, my first job, or maybe I've been doing, let's say, medical science, or maybe something else in history. So how do I advance myself and switch to this domain, right? Because let's be honest, right? The field, these two fields are interesting. They are challenging enough, right? It's not easy for anyone, right? And not anyone can do it, right? So of course you need to have that grit, but you need to demonstrate that kind of intelligence and smartness so that you can pursue that. Okay. So I think, yeah. uh, all right, so that was pretty much it. So I hope you guys really understood the roadmap, and how can we traverse that roadmap to build a good career in technology. Okay, so I think now I would request my team member to give you a walkthrough of our platform and our course, so that you'll have a better understanding of what to do. Right. So I've of course given you a brief idea, and I've tried to summarize everything in detail. But I think our team will introduce you to the curriculum, and you can put in your questions in your Q&A, and I think we'll take it from there. Okay. So Krishna, or I think Pratiksha. So I think we can go ahead and we can share. All right. So विकास मैं क्या करूं? Okay. All right. किसका है ये? अपर्णा, राइट? सो क्या करना है, तो आपको रोड मैप बताया है, राइट? सो आपको ये रोड मैप फॉलो करना है, एंड यू हैव टू स्टिक टू इट। ओके, सो सी देयर, मतलब लाइफ में ऐसा शॉर्टकट शॉर्टकट बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, राइट? तो अब टफ है फील्ड, इतना मैं ऑनेस्टली बोलूंगा, इतना आसान नहीं है इस फील्ड में एक्सेल करना, राइट? अब जिंदगी भर डेटा एनालिस्ट ही बनना है तो वो फिर भी इजी है। जिंदगी भर अगर डेटा एनालिस्ट ही बनना है तो वो इजी है फिर भी, राइट? But if you want to really grow into this field, right, and you want to get more technical, so you have to put in effort day in and out, right? वो मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, right? I'm 34 years. Is it sector for me or not? Right? I think we have seen good number of examples where even people in their mid 30s, they have actually gone on to making their switch. Right? So I will tell you what. Right? So Prashik, आपने कोई इंडस्ट्री में काम किया है? कोई भी इंडस्ट्री में आपने काम किया है? देखो, अगर आप जॉब कर रहे हो, भले ही नॉन टेक जॉब कर रहे हो, कोई इंडस्ट्री में अगर काम करा है, राइट, तो उसी इंडस्ट्री में अगर डेटा साइंस का रोल अगर आप ले लोगे, बिकॉज डोमेन नॉलेज है आपको, मैंने ये बताया, डोमेन नॉलेज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इफ यू हैव ऑलरेडी वर्कड इन एन इंडस्ट्री, अगर नहीं काम कर रहा है तो देन फ्रेशर की तरह आपको खुद को ट्रीट करना होगा। बट इफ यू आर कमिंग विद सम एक्सपीरियंस इन अ डोमेन, देन वो बहुत आपके लिए यूजफुल है, बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी हैव द डोमेन नॉलेज। नाउ वंस यू हैव गॉटन योर टेक्निकल स्किल सेट्स, you can then marry both of them। and सो उस फील्ड में, फॉर एग्जांपल मेडिकल में अगर मुझे एआई वाला काम करना है, तो अगर मेडिकल डोमेन का अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, सो दैट इज एन एडवांटेज फॉर मी, इट्स नॉट अ डिसएडवांटेज। दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू। अपर्णा, आई होप you understand. If you have MBBS, so you have good understanding of how things in medical work। clinical trials पे कुछ काम होगा, कुछ ड्रग डिस्कवरी पे काम होगा, तो ड्रग डिस्कवरी पे लेट्स से एनएलपी पे काम होगा, राइट? So if you know the domain, right, and if you know the technical skill sets, so I think you definitely increase your chances as compared to a regular fresher. Okay, so a regular fresher would try to get any data analyst role, but if you try to get a very domain specific analyst or data scientist or even research roles, I think you will have really good chances। okay, so मैंने शुरू में ही बताया डोमेन नॉलेज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है, अगर फाइनेंस में डेटा साइंस कर रहे हो बट फाइनेंस नहीं आता है, तो फाइनेंस सीख लो सबसे पहले। समझ रहे हो? सो विदाउट डोमेन नॉलेज हाउ डू आई इवन बिल्ड इंटेलिजेंस? अब सोचो खुद से ना, अगर मैं कोई डोमेन में काम कर रहा हूँ, सब मेरा काम थोड़ी कि कोड लिख देना, वो तो एआई भी कर रहा है। AI is already much better at coding and building, doing data analysis and doing data science modeling. So मेरा क्या फिर वहां पे रोल रह गया, right? What is my unique advantage there, right? What is my unique position that the world will reward me? World is ready to pay me. मेरा क्या advantage है? तो डोमेन का एडवांटेज काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ लेट्स वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स रियली ओवरलुक दिस। अगर डोमेन का अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, उस डोमेन में सही एआई में अगर कुछ टेक में करना है, कर। बिकॉज आज के डेट में कोई चैट जीपीटी और ये सब इतना इजी हो गया, कोड वोड लिख रहे हैं, राइट? तो एक्स्ट्रा लेवरेज इससे ही मिलेगा जो एआई उतना भी नहीं कर पाएगा, राइट? बिकॉज एक एआई को पूरा डोमेन और कंपनी और उसका आइडिया रखना, it's not that easy। That means you have to club all your knowledge drops into, let's say, one place, and you have to, you have to, let's say, pass that as, let's say, prompts, or you might have to do, let's say, rag kind of workflow to build, let's say, some intelligence, right? But again, that is not so easy and straightforward। okay, so I would say that एक domain कोई industry पकड़ लो, become good at it, and then of course keep getting better at your technical skills। that's what I would really encourage। all right, so ठीक है, I think I would now pass this stage on to Pratiksha, so you can go ahead and continue। all right, okay, so I'm moving Pratiksha you to stage। okay, all right, great।
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Pratiksha and I'm from the admissions team. So I hope this session is like helpful for you to understand if you are starting from scratch. And we provide two courses. One is the data science program and other one is the web development program. So if you have any questions for me, you can write it down in the chat box. I'm happy to answer all your queries, right? So till now, I hope many things have been cleared by Vikash. But still, if you have any queries related to the data science program or a web development program, so you can ask me in the chat box. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and you can just give me a thumbs up once you see my screen. Yeah. So, so let's talk about Alma Better, guys. Here we are going to give you a brief idea of how Alma Better is going to be helpful for you and how you can take a career transition, right? So basically, Alma Better provide two courses. One is the data science program, other one is the uh, web development program. So in data science as well, we have two categories. One is the certification course, other one is the master's degree program that we have. So why people choose Alma Better? Because we provide 100% placement assurance, right? So I hope here the people have a different prospect for learning. But yeah, the main goal for everyone is for the good to get a good job, right? So Alma Better is helping people to take a transition into IT basically. So if you are a working professional, also if you are a student as well, so we are helping both the learners to take a transition into IT. Or if you are from the IT field, so we are going to give you help in to upskill yourself for the better job, right? So basically we teach in groups. We do have a capstone projects that again you will be going to do in the teams, and you will be getting ready for the job. So basically we teach from scratch to the professional level to, and even we will going to place you in the company as well. So basically, let me give you little overview about it. So if you have, again, I'm repeating, if you have any questions, you can write it down in the chat box at the end. I'm going to answer all your queries, right? So basically, Alma Better is like teaching you everything in detail, right? So the people here who have a mindset that non-tech people didn't get the job in IT. So even I'm going to share you the success stories as well. How Alma Better helped people actually to take a transition, and even they get up their dream jobs as well, right? So yeah. So basically, we, as I mentioned, we provide everything from basics to the advanced level, and we provide 100% live classes, right, with lifetime recorded access to the lectures, right? So basically every session is live over here. We don't provide only recording. So in case if someone wants to complete their course early as well, so there is an option to go with the recordings and do the course prior as well. So here the flexibility is given to each one of you, where you can choose, like even if you want to have a live session, so you can take a complete live sessions with lifetime access to recorded lectures. Apart, if someone wants to complete their lectures, you can say in a shorter time period, so even you can complete that as well. Then coming on the next part, we are having 20 plus capstone projects where we are providing 1,000 plus coding problems and assessment. So in this whole course, you will be going to have capstone projects that we call live projects, right? Where you can understand how actual data science people or a data analyst people work. Then we do have a daily doubt solving sessions. So here the live sessions that we are providing, we provide late evening sessions. The timings of the sessions are 8 to 10:30 p.m., right? So in case if you missed any session, so you have a recorded sessions. Apart, if you have any doubts or anything, so you have an option every day from Monday to Saturday. Our trainers are available from morning 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can discuss in between one on one. So this daily doubt solving sessions are Monday to Saturday, and even you can, there is no limitations, right? Like you can take unlimited live doubt solving sessions. Then we do have a one-on-one mentorship that is also available. So according to that you can book according to your availability. You can book your calendar, and you will get the timings and the slots that are available that time. Yeah. Then we are having 50 plus mock interviews that we give you. And even this is again, it's a 100% job guarantee program where we are associated with 700 plus partners. So we do have startups, we do have mid-level MNCs, we have a great MNCs as well. And right now our you can say major hire partner is Amazon as well. So where we have placed like if I talk about our last placement, so 30 people got placed in the particular in the Amazon company. So basically, here we are giving you the things that is required to get a good job. Yeah. So it's not we are just providing you the things, we are just providing you everything like the resources which is really helpful for you to take a transition if someone is from non IT as well. Yeah. So till here, any questions, guys? Anything that you want to ask, you can write it down in the chat box. I'm happy to answer all your queries. All good? Can I get thumbs up so I can understand? Yeah, even you are getting the things. So yeah. So coming on the next part, this is the things that we are going to provide. So Alma Better is like providing you the live session. So we do have projects, assignments. Even on a particular day, we are having a group discussions as well. So we are having a lab experiments as well. So the classes that we provide, it will be thrice a week. So it will be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the classes timings are late evening. It starts from 8 to 10:30 p.m. In case if you missed any session, so you will be having a access to recorded classes that is for the lifetime. And if you have any doubts or anything, so that the timings are separate, that is from 12 p.m in the afternoon till 8 p.m. Yeah, after it we are having our live sessions. Then we are having one-on-one mentorship. There will be a special lectures, guest lectures with IIT Guwahati trainers. So I hope you all must be aware that we are having a collaboration with IIT Guwahati in certification, even with the Microsoft. And we do have a master's degree where we are having a collaboration with Wolf University. So we are having the AlmaX exam. So basically, what is mandatory for AlmaX? AlmaX is just our placement drive where you need to do the capstone project. So whatever you are learning in every month, there will be a specific test for that where you can easily judge that how you are grasping the things. And if you think that the things are not going in that right direction, so you have a time where you can discuss with the trainer one on one how you can work on your skills for a betterment. Yeah. Then these are our hiring partners that we are having. As I mentioned, we have 700 plus companies with us. So you can see on my screen there are so many companies, right? So we have Amazon, we have Vedantu, we have Novartis, we have Mintra. So we have so many companies with us where you will be getting a placement. So I'm not saying that at every stage every company have a openings, but yeah, we have 700 plus partners with us where like once the batch is finished, so different companies are going to hiring. For example, if right now the Amazon is hiring, maybe after 6 months some other company is there to help you. So it's going like this way. So these are the companies that we are having. You can see on my screen where you can see what are the companies that basically we are collaborated with. Now let's talk about the salary package, that after doing this course, the most important element of the, we can say, for the career growth, right? That is again the salary part. So once you've done the course, you can expect our average packages 8 to 9 LPA, where we are giving you guarantee that your package will be guaranteed above 5 LPA. In that case, like you need to pay the separate placement fee. So Alma Better takes tuition fee plus placement fee. So both fees are different. Like later on, I'm going to explain you everything in detail how it will be calculated. But yeah, if I talk about the average package, so if you have any questions that I am a fresher, how much package that I can get after doing the course, so you can expect the 8 to 9 is our average package. And again, it depends upon your skill set, guys. Like whatever you are learning, whatever you are performing, you will be getting the salary in that way. If someone is experienced in the IT, so even they can expect at least 40 to 50% hike on their current salary. And if you're taking a transition, so you can expect this salary that we are are having our average package. Now you can meet our instructors and mentors. So where like these are our instructors who are going to teach you in the classes. So these are the instructors and the mentors where they are helping you to take a transition into IT. So we have a combination of the trainers. We have working professionals. We have a particular trainer from IIT Guwahati as well. So there will be a separate guest lecture for you guys where you can interact with the trainer. You can discuss everything according to your requirement, and according to that you can go ahead with the course. Then these are the success stories that we are having. So many people have a mindset that non-tech people didn't get the job in IT. It's not like that, right? So basically, if you have your good skill set, right, If you have a right skill set, definitely you will get the job. It depends upon you that how you are going to have your performance, how you are going to adapt the things. But yeah, if you are doing everything, so definitely you will get the better, you can say, a package. Everything is there. So till now, any questions for me that you want to discuss? Anything, you can write it down in the chat box. Guys, I want this session to be interactive. So I request you guys, please, like, please have any, if you have any questions, anything, so you can just write it down in the chat box. All clear? So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you a student dashboard, that what we are teaching. And as I mentioned that we provide a job as well. So let me give you a little overview about the things that AlmaBetter is providing. The student dashboard, how it works, what are the topics that we are covering. That is already mentioned by Vikash, but still I'm going to share you each and everything in detail, where you can understand that how your classes will be there, and how you apply for a job portal. Everything is going to be there. Yeah. So once, yeah, let's go ahead. Just allow me a minute, guys. Perfect. I hope my screen is visible to you all. So this is the dashboard that we are having. And so you can see this is the certification. I'm going to show you the certification course dashboard. So for the master's degree, it shows something different, like the course is more, the topics are there more. But this is the particular for the certification that I'm going to show you, right? So these are the tabs that we have, that is called, this is our home page, that is full stack data science program and AI as well. So then these are the practice coding assessment that you are having. I'm going to show you line wise everything in detail. Then we have a quiz assessment, we have a capstone projects. So there will be a different course. So these are the recordings that are available if you want to do your course early, right? So you can just see on my screen that we have our co-founders and the mentors. Even Vikash and Alok used to teach several topics. They even used to take some classes. So I hope you just had a like interaction with Vikash, and even he is our one of our instructor as well. Like he's a co-founder, and even he is going to take the classes as well. So this is the learn tab that we are having. So this is a full stack data science program, where your program is divided into 6 modules. So here you can see the modules that we are having, and according to that, I haven't solved any, I haven't even watched any single video. So that's why the progress shows 1%. But yeah, once you enter in the course, so according to this progress, you can just calculate your you can say the progress that you are having. So if you are attending your live session, so here we don't have any attendance or the compulsory attendance that you need to have. But yeah, if you are solving your coding assessments, you are presenting your quiz, you are doing your projects well, according to that, we assume that you are taking the course, right? So this is how it works. In this learn tab, you will be getting a recorded lectures, which is already saved, right? So if someone wants to have a wish that I need to do this course little early, so yeah, definitely you can do that. Then this is the classroom tab that we are having. I hope you can see my screen and you will understand better. So this is our classroom tab, where today there is no live session, so it is going to show you like this. But yeah, if you have any session, so you here you will get a 7 days, you can say a timetable, where you can see that what are the topics that they are going to teach you in the class, and you will be having like your schedule according to that. Then next is a practice session that we are having. So this practice session is having again the coding problems, the quizzes. Then you will be having, I haven't solved any single one. So that's why it shows you like this. But yeah, once you solved the coding assessment. So after every class, you can say there will be a particular coding assessment that will be assigned, and here from here you can just solve. So it shows the status solved, and even this is the level of difficulty. That's here you can see it's just easy, easy, easy. So according to that, you can just do this coding, you can say, assessment, where this is called a practice sessions particularly. Then this is the project, this is the main element of the course, where after every module wise you will be getting a project. So you can see on my screen, so there are number of projects that we are having, where 4 projects will be the compulsory that you need to do in entire 6 months. But yeah, if someone have a wish, I want to do more, it's feel free, you can do all the projects, it's up to you, right? But the compulsory is for only for the 4 projects. Then this is a career option where you can track your performance, how you are doing well, how much course you have completed. So it's, you can see the ratio of this. Yeah. Now we are having our mentorship session, where this mentorship will help you to have a one-on-one session. So this one-on-one session is basically with the data science experts, where the people who are having a question. So one person asked for the medical field, yeah. So here you can just book a session for any of the data science professional, where they give you a brief idea about the about the field, how you can apply in your field. So there are number of jobs in the market right now, and even they will help you according to your interests. So from here you can book your counseling session. It is related to academics if you want to discuss. If you want to have a mainly for the job prospect, if you want to discuss, so definitely they are going to help. Then this is a job board, which is like you can see, this is internal our job board, where student can apply from the jobs from here as well. So here you can select your location, which location you belongs to. Then there is an option where you need to work as a remote. Remote is work from home. Hybrid is where the people goes 2 to 3 days of office, and on-site is the permanent work from office. Yeah. So according to your preference, according to the timings that you are getting in the job, according to the you can say schedule of yours, you can select the job, and you can apply. And then once you apply, so we will even get the notification, and will like give share your certification or your degree with the institute. And if they think that you are a good fit or you are a perfect fit for that, so they will definitely will give you a call. So there are number of jobs, right? So you can see it's almost 3967. I hope like the people who have कि मार्केट में जॉब्स नहीं है, कोर्स करेंगे तो जॉब नहीं मिलेगा, गाइस ट्रस्ट मी इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. अगर आपके पास स्किल सेट कंप्लीट है, आपके पास अच्छा स्किल सेट है, so you will not going to like fired by the company. At certain reasons, yeah, the company do fire, but yeah, for this stupid reason कि ठीक है projects नहीं है, ये सब नहीं है, so the company will never fire you. Yeah. Then we have a refer and earn program. So this refer and earn program basically works if you wish to refer your friend, even you can earn a money, uh, like for the 20,000 we are providing for the master's degree. And if someone is interested for the certification, so you can have like a 4,000 rupees as additional money. And this you can say 4,000 you will get, and 3,000 discount will be given to the people who are opting for the course. So even from here you can refer your friend, you can make some money. And for the master's degree you will definitely get 20,000, and additionally your friend will also get 10,000 rupees discount. But it is only valid for the people who are new joinees, not for the existing one. I hope I have cleared so much to you. And if you have any questions, any queries related to the dashboard, you can write it down in the chat box at the end. I'm going to answer all your queries. Yeah. So this is the help option that I'm talking about. So you have to click on help. There you can see your option live support, raise a ticket, and a AI chat. So according to the option, whatever suits you better, you can just do that, and even they will going to help you in each and every. Yeah. So guys, anything till now, I hope this student dashboard that I have showed you, it will be helpful for you to understand each and everything, where you can see how the students look like, how the training is going to be there. So everything you can have in front of your eyes, and then according to that you can just join our course. Yeah. Any questions? Anything? So someone is asking. So Aparna, you were asking that medical data science. Hi, okay, thanks. Okay, which is the right one for someone interested in AI engineering? See, Aparna, if you have a basic knowledge of data science or data analytics, directly you can apply, right? But there will be a, you can say, a compulsion from the company. If you have a proper certification, then only even they will going to give you a call for the interview. That's all. Anything else that you want to discuss? Anything you want to ask? Got it. Yeah, thank you, Aparna. So, BA background with zero knowledge of this field, can I still expect it? Yeah, definitely. See, this 5 LPA, we are giving you a guarantee, right? This like 5 LPA, you will definitely get. We don't have any companies who offer less than 5 LPA. Understand that thing. The graph that I have shown you, वो उन लोगों का है, the people who got the package above 5 LPA only. We don't provide package below 5 LPA. We don't have any tie-ups. If there is some companies that they ask for, but we never send the people. So 5 LPA is a minimum. But yeah, you can expect between 5 to 8, 8.5 if you are from the non-technical field. So Aparna, you will, yeah, definitely it will be in your hands, right? Aparna, see, there will be, if I talk about a class, so there will be a 50 students, right? So I'm not saying कि 50 के 50 लोगों को एकदम ही सेम पैकेज मिलेगा. अगेन ये आप पे डिपेंड करता है हाउ यू आर परफॉर्मिंग, हाउ यू आर ग्रैपिंग द थिंग्स, राइट? सो हो सकता है आपके बैच में वो भी होंगे जिसमें जिनको 5 लाख का एलपीए मिलेगा, वो भी होंगे जिनको 8.5 मिलेगा, और वो भी होंगे जिनको 10+ मिलेगा, राइट? सो टोटली गाइज इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर स्किल सेट, आपकी लर्निंग कैसी है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट यू विल गेट द पैकेज. करेक्ट करेक्ट अपर्णा. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. सी, गारंटी इट्स कि आपको जॉब्स के लिए इंटरव्यू मिलेंगे. आप इंटरव्यू में रह गए, आपको दूसरा इंटरव्यू मिलेगा. आपका सेकंड क्लियर भी नहीं हो पाया, आपको थर्ड अटेम्प्ट मिल जाएगा. बट गारंटी इट्स कॉल्ड समथिंग कि ठीक है, वी कैन गिव आर 100%. आपको जॉब मिले, आपको रिज्यूमे बनवाया, आपका लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल अपडेट कराया, what are the questions that they generally ask, so we are giving you that brief idea. But at the end इंटरव्यू तो आप ही को फेस करना है ना. सो आप कितने इंटरव्यूज में रह सकते हो, एक दोगे नहीं हुआ, दैट्स ओके. सेकंड आप दे सकते हो, थर्ड आप दे सकते हो, फोर्थ आप दे सकते हो. सो इफ यू आस्क मी कि प्लेसमेंट मैम रेट क्या है आल्मा बेटर का, सो दैट इज 92%. एंड 92% इज अगेन अ वेरी बिग नंबर, वेर यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि 92% लोगों को यहाँ से जॉब मिलती है. अगर एक बैच में 100 स्टूडेंट्स है, तो उनमें से 92 स्टूडेंट्स को जॉब मिली है. अब 8% वो लोग होते हैं जिन्होंने कोर्स छोड़ दिया, कंप्लीट नहीं किया, या जॉब का प्रोस्पेक्ट ही नहीं था, सिर्फ लर्निंग का प्रोस्पेक्ट था. सो दीज लाइक पीपल आर देयर, एंड आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड बेटर गाइस. लाइक हर जगह मिलता है ऐसा. और after how many weeks I can expect place in the company after taking Almex? Rohit, within 90 days, you can expect that you will get a placement, because after completion of your course, आपका 25 days जाता है कंप्लीट आपके लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल अपडेशन में, रिज्यूमे बिल्डिंग में. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू योर प्रेफरेंस, लाइक यू प्रेफर कि लोकेशन कौन सा रहेगा, मेट्रो सिटीज रहेगा, सो यू गेट द ऑप्शन ऑफ 3 लोकेशन. आप कोई भी 3 लोकेशन सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट हम आपको प्रेफरेबल जॉब लगाते हैं. अब देन वी लाइक शेयर योर रिज्यूमे विद द कंपनीज, एंड देन यू विल गेट द कॉल. सो अब ये आपके ऊपर है कि आप 90 डेज के अंदर लेते हो, या आपका सेकेंड इंटरव्यू में सिलेक्शन हो गया. सो इट टोटली डिपेंड्स अपॉन यू, बट या 90 डेज के अंदर आपका जॉब लग जाता है. Hello, I am audible to you? Yeah. So Rohit, you have to pay upfront fees, not for the Alma X, but yeah, we have a tuition fee. So I'm going to explain each and everything. at the end. Please just stay till the end where I can explain you everything, and you will be having a brief idea about it. So let's back to the point, guys. Just give me a thumbs up once you see my screen again, and let's discuss about the course structure and everything. So basically, like as I mentioned, we provide two courses. One is data science, other one is the web development. The course duration of the courses are same. Like it's take at least 6 to 8 months to complete the course. So it will be divided into, you can say, a 6 modules, and like we are having thrice a week session. So our classes will be held on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and where we are teaching you 7 modules in total. And in case if you missed any session, so you will be having a recorded lectures with you where you can complete your course. If you have any doubts, you have a one-on-one doubt solving sessions. You will be covering capstone projects. You will be having, you can say, assignments, quizzes, everything is there. So once you complete your course, you will get a certification from two companies. One is the IIT Guwahati, you will get. Secondly, you will get AlmaBetter certification, and the third certification, you will be appearing for a paper where you will be getting a certification from Microsoft. Yeah. So in certification course, we are having this, and in data science, we do have an option of master's degree. So if someone is there who have a gap years, or you have just completed your graduation and you have a plan to have a master's degree, right? So it depend करता है person to person. If you have a plan कि मुझे masters करना है, doesn't matter अगर आपका बीकॉम है, तो आप मास्टर्स इन डेटा साइंस कर सकते हो. ऑटोमेटिकली आपकी जो फील्ड होगा वो चेंज हो जाएगा, क्योंकि डिग्री हो जाएगा, राइट. एंड एवरीथिंग वी आर टीचिंग अगेन फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच ओनली. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप मास्टर्स डिग्री लेते हो, सो वी आर गोइंग टू टीच यू कि सिर्फ मास्टर्स का ही पढ़ाया जाएगा. वो भी अगेन फ्रॉम स्क्रैच ही पढ़ाया जाएगा. And so we in data science we have two categories. One is certification, other one is the master's degree. But if you're looking for a web development, so usme we only provide a certification course. Now coming on the next part, if I talk about like what is a beneficial, what is the difference between certification and the master's degree degree. So certification is we are providing with the people who are doing their graduation, who are undergraduates, or the people who have a goal that they want just you can say a small transition in their career. So if you are looking for the, like for the, you can say, for the great salary, the greatest designation, so even you can choose a master's degree. In case if you haven't done any masters till now, you just have your graduation degree, आपके पास सिर्फ graduation है, गैप ईयर्स हो गए, 5-7 साल काम किया, या गैप है 2-3 साल काम किया, गैप है, बट मैंने कोई डिग्री नहीं किया, तो इन दैट केस एज वेल आप मास्टर्स ले सकते हो. मास्टर्स को करने का आपका बेनिफिट क्या होता है कि मास्टर्स डिग्री में आप कंप्लीट डेटा साइंस कवर होता है, आपका मशीन लर्निंग आएगा, प्लस आप सारे टॉपिक एआई का करोगे. एंड अगेन राइट नाउ द कंपनीज रिक्वायर द पीपल जिनको एआई का भी नॉलेज है. बट इन सर्टिफिकेशन एज वेल वी हैव एडेड वन टॉपिक दैट वी कॉल जेन एआई. Yeah. So I hope this particular overview of the things that you got from here, you have already like have a little idea about it. Apart, I'm going to drop my number in the chat box in case if you have to schedule your one-on-one session with me. So you can just give me a call. I'm going to explain each and everything in detail according to your transition. Like if you are confused कि मुझे कौन सा कोर्स लेना चाहिए, सर्टिफिकेशन बेटर रहेगा या डिग्री बेटर रहेगा, so you can just have a word with me. I'm going to explain you each and everything in detail. Yeah. So I hope this much is very clear to you guys, right? So if you have any queries, anything, you can have like you can write it down in the chat box. I'm happy to answer all your queries. Guys, anything that you want to discuss, anything that you have, any question, you can write it down in the chat box. I am happy to answer all your queries. All the things are clear, guys? Hello, I'm audible. Can you just write it down? Yes, no. That I can you hear me? So now let's talk about the things or about the fee structure and all. So for the certification, we charge 75,000 for certification plus GST, and for master's degree program, we charge 2,80,000 plus GST. Guys, I am audible. Yes, no, anything in the chat box, please, so I can also understand. I want this session to be little interactive, where I can understand how I'm going to. Okay, great. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the response. So basically, uh, uh, as I mentioned, if you have any discussion related to your profile, see, everyone have a different profile, right? सबका different profile है, सबकी different requirement है. So I request you guys कि आप वन ऑन वन सेशन भी शेड्यूल करा सकते हैं. एंड आई हैव ड्रॉप माय नंबर इन द चैट बॉक्स. आप मेरे से भी पर्सनली कनेक्ट करके अकॉर्डिंग टू योर रिक्वायरमेंट आई कैन सजेस्ट कि कौन सा कोर्स बेटर रहेगा. इट्स नॉट कि सर्टिफिकेशन लेना चाहिए या मास्टर्स ही बेस्ट है. बोथ आर बेस्ट, राइट? बट अकॉर्डिंग टू योर कैपेबिलिटी कि आपको कौन सा बेटर रहेगा इन करियर ट्रांजिशन, आप चूज कर सकते हैं. Now I have a one surprise for you guys. The people who have joined this session, particularly this session, I'm going to share one code with you all, and you can avail a 15% straight away discount on the on the courses. Yeah, so you can use the code, and even you will be getting this discount. And additionally, I'm giving you 5% discount from my end. So in total, you will be getting 20% discount on the courses that Alma Better is providing. Either you choose certification, either you choose master's degree program, you can choose any of the program. But yeah, you will be getting the discount. So I'm going to show you this code. You can directly, if you wish to enroll, you can directly put on the website, and even you can enroll in the course. Yeah. So that is MA20. This is our code. If you are planning to have a like for the joining the course, so this is the discount to join this masterclass, to have a good, you can say, a knowledge about it. So this is the, you can say, a small gesture that we can provide you, that is a discount. And this is a 20% discount you can avail on all courses in Alma Better. So if you have any questions, anything, you can write it down in the chat box. So that's all from my end. This like I am going to give you a brief idea about it. So if you have any questions, anything, you can ask. Apart, let's all clear, guys. You can give me a thumbs up. You can give me a little detail about it. So if you have anything related to the course, you can just write it down in the chat box. I'm happy to answer all your queries. Apart, we will going to wrap up this session. So I hope all people, you don't have any questions. Nobody have any questions. I have cleared all the queries. So thank you so much everyone for joining this session, and I hope this session is helpful for you guys, and you will learn a lot. And if you want to have the one-on-one session schedule, you can just connect with me. You can connect with anyone in the Alma Better. So we are happy to help you out to take a career transition into data science or a web development. Yeah. Thank you so much everyone for joining this session again. Thank you so much.